Hey guys, it's Block Dude Cubing here, and today we're going to be solving the 4x4 cube. And 3x3 cube, like I showed y'all in the last few videos how to solve, it will definitely help you out later on down the line with this cube. And that's because what we're going to do is we're going to solve all the centers, and then we're going to solve all the edges. Which means is because once we solve the centers and pair the edges, we can actually solve it like a 3x3. And that's when we're going to do that, is we're going to use F2L, and then instead we're going to use it on the first 3 layers of this cube and call it F3L, and then we're going to use OLL and PLL to solve the last layer, just like we solved 3x3 in the last few videos. So let's go ahead and begin. We're going to have to start off by scrambling the cube. So this is pretty much scrambled. What we're going to want to do, first things first, is we're going to want to choose a center and call it the black center. So I like to start with one piece on what I call the black center. And the reason we're not sure of what center it is because unlike the 3x3, we actually don't have any core pieces that are labeled with a sticker to tell us which center we're solving. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pay attention throughout the video, and if you know the color orientation and you can put them in the right places automatically, good for you. That'll help you solve this cube a little bit. But if you don't, go ahead and pay attention to what I do, and we're just going to pair the centers together. And the first thing I do is I put two centers right next to each other. So in a row like this. And what that lets us do is it lets us find the other two, put it in a row, and then put them together, just like that. And when we do that, we essentially solve a center. So it's pretty easy on a 4x4. There are only 4 centers on a 4x4. So that leaves us with a kind of inner 2x2, and it lets us kind of freely change those around so that we can solve a center pretty easily at the beginning of the centers. So now what I'm going to do is I see 2 reds right here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the red center next. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to turn this around. So here are 2 other red centers, and they're both in rows, or these columns now. So I'm going to want to just turn them together, and then I have 4, and then I have all of the centers on the red face. So that's a good sign. Now we have 2 centers. And I'm going to show y'all next, though, what happens if you're trying to solve a center and you get one opposite of the face that's already solved. Because eventually you're going to have that happen on a 4x4 cube. It's pretty much unavoidable. So if you're solving and you're not sure you can fully comprehend how to solve the centers, you might want to start with a 3x3 cube, or even if you're unsure of how to solve a 3x3 cube, there is also a 2x2. And this is not the 2x2, but I'll go ahead and show y'all how to do the centers. And if you're a new cuber and you're pretty good at figuring out which colors go where, I'm sure this will be easy for you. You just need to pay attention to what I do with the edges that are, with the centers that are already solved. So I'm going to bring these 2 blue ones together, but I messed up the black center while I did that. So I'm going to turn it out of the way, and then I'm going to bring the black center back. And that pretty much lets me solve the blue side, the blue center. Not the whole blue side, but the blue center. So now I have 2 blue rows or columns, and I'm going to want to put this column here, but the way I do that is I bring these yellow pieces up, switch them with the blue by turning this face around, and then bring the blue back onto the blue face. And you might have a question by now. You might be wondering, well, how did you know the blue went there? And the reason for that is because if I were to take a corner that had these three colors on it, black, blue, and red, I would know based on the corner that belongs in between them that they belong in this orientation. So this corner tells me that when I solve the cube, I'm going to want them to be in this orientation, or otherwise black, red, and blue in a counterclockwise order. In a clockwise order, you're going to want it to go red, black, blue. And that's the only way this cube is solvable, is if you put these sides in the right orientation. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solve the last two centers. And this can be a little trickier than the other ones because you only have these two centers to work with. But that's okay. So once you get here, this is the last two centers, and it means you've solved 4 other centers already. And so a lot of times when you have the last two centers of a big cube, which means any cube bigger than 3 by 3, it can be sort of tricky to get them onto the right face. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find, let's take the red face because this one's already solved, the red center, and we're going to know that we want the orange to be on the opposite center. So this is red, that means this one should be orange. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take this orange piece and pair it up with another orange piece so that we can bring it up with the other 2 orange pieces, and then we will have all 4 orange centers. So I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to bring that down there, turn this up, so we're bringing both of the orange centers back to the other 2, and then boom, we have both of the last 2 centers solved. And now we want to solve the edges. So this shouldn't be too difficult, but I'll show you what I do, and I'm more of a casual cuber. I don't actually do a lot of speed solving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose an edge, and this is a black and green edge, and I found the other edge that goes with it. So here's black and green right here. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to take the piece that's next to the black and green here, bring it up, replace that edge with the edge with the black and green. So I just replaced it, and then I'm going to bring it down, and now I have the black and green 2 edges paired. So that's great. So now we have 2 edges paired. So this one came paired automatically. Sometimes that happens if you don't scramble the cube up good enough, like me. But that's okay, or as you're solving it, sometimes you get an extra edge. So now we have black and red and black and green edges solved. So what we're going to want to do, or not solved, but pretty much paired. So they're paired, so that means they belong with each other. So here we go. So we're going to do next the red and green edge, and we're going to do that by finding the other red and green edge. So here's red and green as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up, the one that isn't red and green, I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to replace that one with the red and green. So now I've put that where the scrambled edge was, and then I can turn this back over and bring it down to be with the green and red edge. And now the green and red edge is paired. So you're going to want to keep doing that, and you're going to want to do that till you have about 3 edges left. Okay, so I've gotten down to the last 2 edges, but what I want to show you is how to do the last 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to switch one of these with a 3rd edge, and I'm going to show y'all what to do when you have 3 edges left to be solved. That did not work. So I'm going to do that again. There we go. So now we have 3 edges that need to be solved. And I'm going to show you what to do here. So typically, you want to find 2 edges that belong to one another, and you want to put them together next to each other on parallel edges. So, and then you can put the third one wherever. It can be back there, it can be up here, it can be wherever it wants to be. And you're going to want to move it together and then take the third edge, and you want to make sure you do it the right way. And you want to make sure you put the green and black with the green and black that's down here. So I'm going to turn this up prime like that. And that way I can slide it in next to the black and green that's down here and solve all 3 edges at once. So look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So now we have all of our edges paired, and I hope that helped you. And you might be wondering, what happens and what do I do if I have just 2 edges that aren't paired? So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that real quick. Okay, so here we go. So this is when 2 edges are unpaired. So that means you have one edge with the other and its partner with the other partner. So what you're going to want to do is keep them facing each other like this. So you want red to red, which means we have one edge to its partner and we have the other edge to its partner as well. And you're going to want to bring one up into the other one, so that pushes that out of the way. And then you want to take this edge, and you do a really simple algorithm. It's called up, left, up prime, left prime, front prime, left, front. And what that does is it totally flips this edge around and brings it down so you can solve it and bring the paired edges to each other. And then you have the edges paired again. So now we're edge paired all the way around the cube. So that's exactly what we want. And now here's the amazing part. Now we get to solve it like a 3x3. So, but I'm not going to scramble up this 3x3 just to show you, because I want you guys to use the guide in the description and hopefully be able to figure out by yourself how to solve this cube, and with my help, if that helps you out. So here we go. We're going to make our black cross. So that should be pretty easy, because if you remember from the last few videos I showed you, you just need to pair up the backs of these black edges with the right color, and then slide it down to the black. So here we go. Now we have our black cross again. And